Are your hands giving away your age more than your face does? Stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to anti-age the hands. Welcome back. Christine Byer here, licensed esthetician for 21 years. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome. On my channel, we talk about your skincare journey because it's never usually one thing that makes your face or hands look better. It's a combination of things. So, and that ends up being quite the journey. So in this video, I wanted to do a quick 3-step treatment. Well, I might add LED in there, but it was just going to be a 3-product treatment. Just a quickie, how to protect, nourish your hands, work on pigmentation, that sort of thing. Now, as we go into summer, we have to remember that our hands get a ton of sun as well. We're driving in the car, the hands are getting the sun, the tops of them. So we really have to take extra steps to take care of them. So you will need, for this video, you will need an exfoliant. I'm going to use a chemical exfoliant with some nice antioxidants in it. You will need a hydrating serum, toner, ampule, something that adds a layer of hydration. As if we were doing a mask, you could use a mask, but you'll have to take it off at the end. Last thing we're going to use is moisturizer / sunscreen with light diffusing with a blurring effect. So if you have those 3 things, the last one doesn't have to have sunscreen in it. It could just be a moisturizer and then you can put sunscreen on. But that's what we'll be using. So let's get started. So I'm actually going to wash my hands with a very gentle cleanser because I feel like my hands get pummeled every day by antimicrobial soaps. This last year, they've really been beat up with all those antimicrobial soaps. And unless you've been slathering on anti-aging lotion right afterwards, then they need some TLC. I'm actually going to just use the Just Say Ah cleanser. It looks like this. It has a pH of 5, so it's a lower pH and it's very compatible with the skin and won't dry you out. All right, and I think I'm going to take my watch off too because when I do hand treatments, I like to kind of go all the way up. Many times I'll go all the way up to, well, at least up here because this looks pretty bad on most of us. And look at this cute little, my sister got this for me. See, it says sister. I thought it was sweet. I really love this on the hands. I tested this product on my hands before I brought it to market, and it was so nice. It was like you could completely see the difference between one hand and the other. And this is a blend of fruit acids, but it also has CBD, an entourage of CBD, which are all the terpenes and polyphenols found in the cannabis plant. And they happen to be very potent antioxidants. So I'm going to take it all the way down. And so some can leave this on and have no issues with it. I like leaving it on because you don't want to wash off all those antioxidants, but some people are very sensitive and they have to take it off. So we'll get that side going. And we'll do this side. So yeah, how was everybody's weekend? Mine was, Saturday and Sunday was good, but man, my Friday was the worst. Many of you know I had a facelift, and I was okay with my face. It's just that I had no chin. And when you have no chin and a heavier neck, your whole neck just disappears as you get older. You just become, as you have one unit. And if you followed me for a while, you know this story. But I got an email and it was just really nasty. And the gal said she had been following me for 1.5 years and she felt duped because I got a facelift. And it was nasty. And I was like, you know, the thing is, I think what people forget is that facelifts do zilch for quality of skin, right? So if you don't take care of your skin and follow all the stuff that I teach you to do, this is like live, eat, breathe, poop, skin. This is me. That's what I do, right? I've been doing this for 21 years. If you don't take care of your skin, you're going to go get a facelift and it's just going to lift the same crappy skin. So the gal was saying, it was just so shocking. It was like completely invalidating of everything that I do. My 21 years hoofing it behind this facial chair, you know, hunched over people. I got the hump, the esthetician hump to prove it. Changing faces one at a time, clearing out lymph, stripping out overly stressed muscles, draining out toxins, opening up fresh blood supply, repairing skin, repairing faces, repairing. People come in here and they feel bad and then they feel better when they leave. You know, it's not just surface stuff that I do. So her point was that she was looking at plastic surgery, and so she found me and thought she wouldn't need it. And I'm sorry to disappoint, but you do what you can until you feel like you need surgery, and then you have surgery. And that's the way it goes. I was watching Dr. Raj. I don't know if you guys ever watch him, but he was talking about, no, it wasn't Dr. Raj. I was watching Dr. Yoon, I think that's how you say his name, and he was talking about treat yourself well, eat well, take care of your skin, and if nothing else helps, then get surgery as a last resort. And I'm like, I have been doing stuff to my face for 20 years. And I finally just decided it was time. I mean, I'm still shocked that I did it, but so this is drying down quite a bit. Sorry, I needed to get this off my chest. I wanted to be real. You know, this was one of my biggest fears, that people say, oh, well, your stuff doesn't work. That is so far from the truth. That's like so opposite. And if people could see that facelifts are not the end all be all. And some people don't even need facelifts. Some people have a nice crisp chin. And I looked at the gal who had written this email, and she looked great. I mean, she didn't look like the kind of person that had the heavy neck or that she would need much work at all. And I was just, it just made me feel horrible, because I want to help everybody. And if I can't help you here in my treatment room, I'll help you online, right? I teach. This is what I do. I educate people on how to take better care of their skin, get better results than just slapping on a cream. And I was just devastated. All right, so I'm just going to leave this on. And, well, you know what? I'm going to do some LED. So I'm going to take this off. That's something you need to think about. If you're going to do LED, you always want to remove any sort of acids, because even though this self-deactivates, and I would love to leave these terpenes and all these wonderful antioxidants on the skin, because you can see how calm my skin has gotten. And it's from the peel, which is crazy. It's the Get Glowing Exfoliating Gel. Okay, so let's go ahead and put on. I'm going to use some HYAL, and this has many different weights of hyaluronic acid in it. Just going to do a little bit and pat it in. Oh, this feels so good. So yeah, it was a hell of a weekend. I just felt devastated by that. But I don't know. I mean, maybe if I were a scientist, or I worked in human resources or something, people wouldn't feel like they can just slam me like that. But I guess you open yourself up to a lot of criticism when you go on YouTube, and I understand that. But I guess because she had been following me for so long, I was like, really? And I can't fix everybody, and it's devastating. And some people are not going to like me, and that's all right. That's life, right? So yeah, there were other things I thought about, because I was watching plastic surgeons all weekend. I don't know, not all weekend, but I just find it interesting to see their point of view, because they don't do what I do. And a lot of times they'll do a lot of stuff to the skin, and it doesn't look as good as what I could do for the skin. I mean, Dr. Raj is talking about, does LED work? Of course it works. I've known that for 20 years. I've been doing a series on my mom, and she split her thumbnail, and when I do this series, I have a half hour of downtime to wait for this mask to dry. So I will put my big, huge Mondo LED 10 minutes here, 10 minutes on the chest, and 10 minutes on the arms and hands, because it's a big one, right? And I put it on her hands on Friday, and I spoke to her today, and she said that it was healing up the crack. And I'm like, of course. That's what LED does. It speeds up cellular turnover. It increases oxygenation, it increases blood supply to the area, so it heals. We can use LED on bruises, on cuts and scrapes. It's not just for anti-aging. It grows hair. I mean, LED is like this wonder. It's like photosynthesis with plants. And I'm like, you're just now figuring that out? I've used it for 21 years. I'm sorry, I'm on my high horse, but yeah, I mean, there are things that I know they work. I've been using them on clients, willing clients' skin to get better for the last 20 years. I mean, we are our clients' biggest cheerleaders for our clients' skin, right? We want them to look better. They're coming to you, they're coming to me, they're trusting me. So I guess that was, plus it was like, it was just horrible. It just felt like she was saying, what you do is shit, and yeah, the last 20 years of your life is just shit. And I'm like, wow. It just activates that part in me, that parent who was, you could just never please, right? My dad, you could just never please him. Nothing was good enough. And so I know that, I mean, I've had clients like that here and there, and it's always devastating. It's just devastating because, I'm a esthetician, I'm a people pleaser. All right, so I've done a couple, 3-4 layers of the HYAL. This is an ampule / essence / toner, and it just hydrates the skin. I feel like I want to do some more. And I will, because I'm getting ready to put these under LED. And one thing my mom did say is that her hands felt a little dry after LED. And I'm like, yeah, that can happen, especially if you do LED on dry skin. And that's why I like to do it over a mask. And I know there's another esthetician on here who says, clean dry skin, and that's fine. But usually the stuff absorbs so thoroughly that you're not going to get refraction. And the results I get taking LED off of people using a clear gel or mask on them first is much better than the results I get just using it on clean dry skin. So my mom still got results even though it was on clean dry skin, but she said she was dry. So had I put on some hydrating mask on there and then moisturized afterwards, she probably wouldn't have suffered that dryness. So yes, when you do LED, you definitely need some form of hydration with it, because it's like asking the skin to run a marathon and not giving it any extra water. So we need to give our skin some hydration when it's thirsty. We need to give it some water if we're going to ask it to run. So at this point, I'm going to do some LED. All right, so I've got my handy dandy Glow Younger LED. I'll turn this off for a second. So I love this because it has amber, red, and infrared on it, which sort of covers all bases, and it's big. Look, you can do your whole hand with it. It's big. I love it. So, yeah. Yeah, LED's been doing good things for skin for a long time. And so with this device, you can use it anywhere from 3 to 8 minutes on one spot. And so I'll probably do 5 minutes here. Yeah, I mean, LED is like photosynthesis for plants. And so now you're starting to see these cuffs that go over the neck and little cuffs that go over the hands. And those look good. But the thing is, I'm noticing even on my $1,800 LED, my panel, it is made of that same material, and I use the heck out of it. I use it on every single client at the end. and it's starting to crack, and I'm pretty devastated, but I've had it for a couple of years, so I can't, I'll have to look and see if I can get a replacement. Probably not. I mean, it's been such a long time, but I use it to death. And so when LEDs are on that sort of moldable material, they can crack and they wear. I don't think they travel very well. So while those are convenient, I don't know. I was so devastated that mine started to crack. So good old faithful, this thing. I brought these to market because I've used them for a while. They're strong. The LEDs are packed tightly together, so you're going to get a good treatment. Lots of jewels, lots of energy going directly into the skin, because when you put it flat on the skin, the energy doesn't escape. It's escaping a little bit here because my hand's not flat, but if you can smash this against the skin here, let's do this. All that energy is going into the face or into the skin, and that's really what you want to happen. You want those LEDs to be as close to the skin as possible so that all that energy gets absorbed. But yeah, it's like photosynthesis with plants. It's just LED is such a gentle staple in my practice. I remember when I first got one, it was my first year as an esthetician. It was like 2001, and I went to a skincare show. I don't know, was it in Orlando? I was living down in Miami, and I bought this teeny tiny little, 19 diodes LED. It was like this big. And I was like, oh, they tell me all the stuff I could do. It was brand new, right? And I spent $3,100 for that little thing. I was like, really? And so I sort of broke my cardinal rules, like always do your research and study before you buy anything at a trade show. And now, you learn. But it worked. It worked like crazy. It was red infrared. I had people doing series back then, and I'm seeing all sorts of weird things go away on the skin. And I think it's that infrared that really triggers the immune response of the skin. But I don't know. I've seen it do wonders. I figure that's about 3 minutes. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. Starting now.
So I don't use her when I have clients. She's a little too loud. But yeah, so LED, it's pretty wondrous. I mean, given consistency and time. I mean, I did a 10-minute treatment to my mom's hands, and she noticed a difference in the healing of that cracked thumbnail. I mean, that's painful. So yeah, and if you haven't tried it, give it a try. Just know that you can overuse LED. Just know that the skin will be thirstier when you start using devices and machines. I think not everybody knows that, but yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. It's like extra activity means extra water. But I never really know what to say when I do these treatments, but somebody was saying they liked my banter when I did it. I was like, all right, can I banter with myself? I don't know. So what else? What other fantastic devices are there out there? I've been looking. I'm wanting to add another device to my roundup, but I'm not seeing anything that's like blowing my mind right now. You think about all the things you can do to skin to make it happy or rejuvenate, right? And you usually have to do a mixture of things. It's usually, things that add energy to the skin, like LED or microcurrents. So LED is adding light energy, microcurrents adding electric energy in a very tiny, minute form, so the skin can use it for anti-aging. So ultrasound is sound waves that adds energy to the skin, but that also heats the skin a little bit. So that's kind of one of those double action type of devices. But yeah, generally we are either adding energy to the skin or we are causing a micro trauma to the skin, a little micro injury to the skin to get it to rejuvenate on its own. So devices that do that would be radio frequency, laser. Oh, what else does that? Anytime you do a peel, microneedling. Oh God, I'm sure there's a million things I'm forgetting. But there's just so many ways to get the skin to rejuvenate. And it's usually a mixture of things. So when I'm here, I'll do something that causes a micro injury. Like I'll do a light peel, and then I'll do some RF, and then I'll go in and do LED. Everybody gets LED at the end. That is just what happens in my treatment room. Everybody gets 5 to 7 minutes of my big blow your face off LED. Right? It doesn't blow the face off. It's very gentle and nourishing and healing. It's kind of like my insurance policy. So after I do anything to the skin, I always go in and do an LED to sort of polish off the treatment, to seal off the treatment, make sure everything really works well. And then, people's facials look like they last longer. People look better longer. And that's priceless. But I'm doing it because it's rejuvenating their skin, and it's going to make them look good. So, but yeah, I've been looking at devices, and it's sort of more of just what's out there. I do find just now that summer's here, just those masks like the cryo masks, those are nice. There's a hot cold machine, but I'd rather put a cold mask on the face, for 5-10 minutes and get the whole face at once. But the little hot cold devices, those are kind of nice too. But I don't know. I think I would rather just have the whole mask. I don't think I would do that around my skin, because in my mind it's not doing as much as a whole face. I wish they had a neck one too. A whole face and neck cryo treatment, like a quickie cryo treatment. But that's all the rage right now too. The cryo machines, and you like put on your shorts and a sports top, and you get in them, and it takes you're way down in temperature, like freezing, and you do it for like 2 minutes. But it's a cold treatment, and it's supposed to be anti-inflammatory and energizing and make you feel good. I've not done it. They have one here. I really want to try it out. Okay, Google, stop. All right, so we have done 5 minutes on both hands. Now, after LED, you can look a little bit red just from the heat, but that will dissipate. That happens all the time with my bigger LED, and usually within like 2 minutes, the skin lets off the heat and it dissipates, and the skin looks very calm and hydrated. So don't freak out that if you are red after an LED treatment, it usually dissipates. Okay, so now you can just put on your moisturizer / sunscreen, and I don't know, my hands are still feeling dry. Did I do a peel on somebody this week? I wear gloves, but yeah, they're still feeling dry. So what I'm going to do is put on just a hydrating moisturizer. All right, so I'm just going to do some NeoGenesis. This is a light moisturizer. I'll just do a little bit of this. Oh, that feels so good. Oh yeah, I just did a mini peel to my hands. Of course I feel dry, but I don't know. Some days they're just thirsty. All right, so now we're going to do my very favorite. You guys, let me tell you, make sure you are using sunscreen on your hands in the summer. I started talking about that at the beginning of the video, and then I got sidetracked. This is my favorite, SculPLLA SPF 50. It's a blurring Korean sunscreen. So it has a little bit of color to it, and I have the blue veins in my hands that are showing now. I was thinking about getting fat transfer to my hands, but it sounds really painful because the fat transfer takes a while to heal. So I think what I'm just going to do is put a little bit of this on, try to hide those blue veins. Remember to take it all the way up. But yeah, so you can buy those sun hand guards. I don't know what they call them. I was trying to think of what you call this. Sun hand protectors. And I just remember, I thought it was so funny. A couple of years ago, I was with Isabel Brown, who is a medical esthetician. She lives down in Tampa, but she is from Costa Rica. And so I went with her to Costa Rica. She was going to do a full face fibroblast treatment to me, and she did. But we were driving in the mountains, and she pulled out these thick, like, wool cable net gloves, like mittens with the fingers cut out, and put them on and was driving. And you know, it's like 90 degrees in the shade in Costa Rica, and I was like, you need something that thick? But she's like, I just don't want the sun to get through it. So they were just so thick. I was like, man, are your hands sweating? But a great idea, right? I need to get some. I don't have any. I'll be driving and I'll notice the sun's on them, and I'll put my hand down. So it's like this game. I'm like, I just need to buy some hand guards. But what I do try to do is always remember to, once I put my sunscreen on, is put my hands up to my face. You know, put sunscreen on them. Remember that. I need to keep some sunscreen in my car, but the thing is, I think the heat would degrade it, you know, because how much sun your car gets. I think that would be degrading. I just don't always remember. How do you guys remember to always put sunscreen on your hands? But I think the trick is, like with my scarf trick is to take, you know, just put on some gloves. So if anybody knows of a good hand protecting glove, please leave that in the comments. Not cable knit, please. All right, so that's our treatment. This is something you could do once a week, twice a week, depending on how thick your skin is. Exfoliate, hydrate, and this little Get Glowing gel, you can use any one you want, but I like this because I noticed it started to really brighten up any sunspots I had on my hands. And I was kind of shocked that it did that and that there was a difference between the two hands. And I will look for that picture. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.